welcome to episode 248 of our SAP on Azure video podcast. Today is June 30th, and together with Goran, we're here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone. So 2 weeks back, Alice released the MCP Bridge on GitHub, which basically enables you to expose any OData service as an MCP server. I was lucky to be a very early tester of this MCP Bridge, and I was blown away by the results. I had just picked a few random OData services, and it all worked. Then I looked for commonly used SAP Business OData services from the API Buinssess Hub, and they also worked. Even more, I was not only able to read information from an SAP system, but also write back information. So, to take a closer look at the MCP Bridge, I'm really glad to have Alice Vinogradova with us today. Welcome, Alice. Before we start, can you tell us a little more about what you are doing at Microsoft?
I'm senior software engineer. I work in Microsoft for almost 3 years. It will be 3 years in August. I'm counting, yeah, because it's like quite important stuff. So, and I started work as a ABAP developer in 2002. So it's about 23, also in August, by the way. So it will be 23 years of ABAP in my life, and I would say maybe 33 years of programming in my life, because I started like with my small 8-bit computer, ZX Spectrum clone, something like that. So yeah.
Wow, impressive.
Long ago.
I didn't know that. That's but I knew you are an old-time ABAP developer. So I think that certainly...
Yeah, I started with 4.0. Sorry, 4.0.
Oh, wow. Okay, I only started with 4.6c. I still remember, but 4.0, cool. So
well, yeah.
No, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to have you here. Especially, I was actually really surprised. You published your blog post on the MCP Bridge, and I think the feedback from the community was absolutely amazing. I mean, there were so many comments. I don't, obviously you have probably a better traction on the views, but my posts about this and the reposts, they hit thousands of views immediately, and there was a lively discussion on the post. And then what really also surprised me, there was an SAP Stammtisch, so basically a meetup in Frankfurt recently, and they also talked about the MCP Bridge. So I wasn't there, but again, it was mentioned in some of the posts on LinkedIn. So it's really amazing. You hit a nerve basically, and the cool thing, it's not only about SAP OData, right? It's about Dynamics. It's about any OData service that you have. So maybe to get started, can you? What is MCP? What is the Model Context Protocol? Can you explain that a little?
So as far as I remember, it's like almost half of a year, or maybe slightly more. It was developed by
Anthropic.
Suggested by Anthropic, yeah, and then rapidly like got popularity from the open source community, because that's how probably the hottest part of the AI thing and application of AI in real life. It would be something that coming from open source, because that's where it's like really boiling and developing rapidly. So, and then it was adopted by Microsoft, OpenAI, Google, and basically, so now it's standard de facto. So it's like no more standard needed. So yeah, we can go for this one and like apply it in our life. Yeah, and it basically, as far as I understand, it will give AI agent or any model exposure like to tools, prompts, and resources. Resources and prompts maybe less used in real life, but tools or functions, this is like the most useful part for everyone else. So you can ask AI to do something, and it will do. When we will have our robots in our home, I believe, yeah, maybe it will be MCP 5.0, but maybe that's how it will all be kind of implemented. Yeah.
Oh, well, let's see, let's see. But I mean, you mentioned Microsoft, Google, even SAP at their Sapphire event, they also talked about MCP. So as you said, I think MCP is really something that is top of mind for everyone in the AI industry, or something, someone who has something to do with AI.
Yep.
So, but now I think MCP, and I had played around with MCP. I I actually did some vibe coding to try to create an MCP server and stuff like that. But I think then you had the epiphany, the idea to build this MCP bridge. So maybe can you tell us what is the MCP bridge, and maybe you also put it on GitHub, so maybe you can also show us a little there, where viewers can take a look at the MCP bridge, how they can download it and use it.
So I believe the link in description, yeah, below.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, subscribe, and basically, so my struggle was I wanted to bring AI into SAP, or SAP closer to AI, and if you would start doing this, you would realize that you need really complex API or wrapper on top of an API. So how you connect them. So, but like everything is already resolved with OData. So why would you need something else? And basically that's, well, it is slightly different because OData would exposure in internal data structure, data model, and give you tools, but eventually it's almost the same if we convert entities of OData into tools and like into corresponding. I'm not sure. Should we share a screen, or
Yeah,
to
maybe
show that
let's do
demo?
that. Yeah, let's take a look maybe
Okay.
at your repo where you have
I
published.
would, yeah, sorry, I would look that way
All good.
because that's where
Yes.
my
Too many monitors.
second monitor where I will be able to actually show you something. So let's go to GitHub. So GitHub, and this is the one. So basically, I hope that. And by the way, here is the secret. How could I do this? Yeah, contributors, myself and my friend Claude. Yeah, so yeah, it was not here, but recently he started like, I'm doing the most of the work. Why you are not? So
Why are
so
you
so
mentioning me
yeah.
as a
Yeah,
contributor?
yeah.
Okay.
So he like plugged himself there. So I'm okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. Idea is not everything. You have to implement the stuff. So basically, yeah, that should be great. So basically, as you can see, this is a small introduction. What is there? Recently, we added, together with my friend Claude, V4. I will test it. It's like, it looks like it works, but let's see. So since it is implemented, the latest version is implemented in Go, it is easier to distribute. You just build the binary and then you can just download and put it, because with Python, I realized that it's really hard to even replicate the environment on the another machine that is next to mine. So like the easiest way. So what else? What else? Sorry, I forgot. What was the question?
No, we just wanted to take a look at the repository. So and I think, yeah, we will put the link in the show notes. That's for one. But I think also the other thing that you mentioned, we start, or you started with Python, and even when the two of us, when we met and talked about this, I had some challenges setting it up. But then you helped me get it working. With the Go implementation, it's much easier. Either you can build it from scratch, so you have all the sources out there. But I think you also published now Go binaries that everyone can easily use. So it's, yeah, the Go implementation is actually really easy to get started.
yeah, basically for everyone who is watching us, you just go to releases and download the latest one. This is not the latest one. Yeah, I'll probably automate the nightly building and everything else. So no hassle, just go there. So there are some examples where to plug it in and how. So basically our best friend Northwind demo service. Yeah, so now we can try v2 and v4. So yeah, and this comment is for Windows basically, because guys from Mac and Linux will know what to change, because yeah,
slashes and yeah,
just another way and it's slightly different. So yeah, some features probably that actually coming from the limitation that MCP protocol has. It has limitation on the length of the name of the tool, and as you might notice, OData entities can be really long and very verbose. So there's an option which is called tool shrink. It will cut off some unnecessary parts like service or like entity, some words that is not really meaningful, and try to squeeze it into that limit, so it will be there. Also, there is another thing which is functions, or let me check. Yeah, so you can filter out some entities and functions with wildcard, because maybe you don't want something to be changed or even looked at. And I believe there will be, or it's probably in to do some read-only option, because yeah, that's probably the obvious limit. You don't want to give AI a power to change something, because you're like really cautious. But yeah, so that's probably it. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And I mean, you already mentioned the Northwind service. So the Northwind service is free available OData service basically. So maybe could you show us how the MCP bridge works? And let's start really with the Northwind service, maybe, because that is something that everyone can easily do. Maybe later on we can also show how it works with the ES5 system. Which I think is something that is very known in the SAP community, but maybe we can quickly start with a demo on the Northwind service, if you have prepared that.
Yes, I wanted to build the latest one, but seems like there is some issues with tags. So do you think that we can just clone another one and maybe show how you can easily do that? So basically, yeah, we just go here, copy, and doing like git clone this. Since I already have this name, I will call it OData MCP go to. Yeah, so it's all cloned, so I will just go there. OData MCP go to. And everything that I need to do is make build. It should build the version for this. But I need it for Windows. Yeah, so a moment. I probably will ask it to build.
But I think it's build complete.
Yeah,
okay.
Since I'm using WSL, which is Windows for Subsystem for Linux, and I wanted to use it outside. So yeah, it will compile for everything.
Okay.
We have to wait for some seconds, and yeah, your call is very important to us. Please wait. Yeah,
but anyways, I think
anyway, at some point
fast.
it will do it. Yeah, and let's go to the rehearsed improvisation. Okay, so this is here. The only thing that maybe I can show you what I'm using, this is the prompt inside the project, and it will be kind of injected into every conversation inside this project. So that might be easier to explain to AI agent what limitation it might have. And so basically it says paginate responsibly, don't request all of the entities at the same at the first time, because it might be like, yeah, pagination might be not by default, so it can spit into your nice AI all the database, and it will just die, and the context will overflow. So yeah, so let's go here. So we can see that we have north wind go.
And just to explain, so in Claude Desktop now, you
Uh-huh.
see a list of MCP servers, and one of these MCP servers that you have via the MCP Bridge is this Northwind Go, and then in this specific MCP server, you can see all the tools that are now exposed. So basically now in Claude Desktop, you can select which tools you want to leverage, and
so,
then you can use them.
So basically, this is
Yeah.
this is we can see that the previous version, which is Python, and this is Go version. So basically, what you do, you mention the binary, and in parameters, you just point to that service that you want to expose. You can repeat this as many times as you want. Basically, how many services you want to convert to MCP. You just mentioned them. There is no limit. The only thing, maybe try to rename it slightly differently, so AI would not be overwhelmed with the context. But yeah, it should work. It supports also basic authentication and cookies authentication. Not yet like
OAuth or
this
something like that.
crazy, really solid SAML or oath, but yeah, probably on its way. But for POCs, for testing, for minimal valuable product, it is enough. But yeah, at some point it will be supported, and we will be all happy. So yeah, and here we can see the same list, but with slightly different, the same names. So basically, this is Northwind Go, and we can see all the tools that were converted from the OData entities. On the top, we can see that this is OData service info. Basically, this is metadata request, and it will introduce to the structure and to the self introspection. And you filter count, get, create, update, delete, filter count for every for everything that was there in that tool set.
From the entity types, everything is now there as a tool for Claude.
And we can ask questions like list all categories of, let's not specify of what. It should probably figure it out, because that would be the only categories that are exposed through the MCP. Let's see. It is thing. So yeah, MCP Bridge. Yes, it is going to Northwind Go.
Ask you to.
Yeah, because for first time it uses the tool. It will ask you. So, and you can see that from that prompt it uses also top limitation, so not to select everything. So yeah, these are all product categories. Oh, let's make it slightly bigger.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
This is, so yeah, and the most funny part, give me the most, the most expensive food. I would expect something like ikra or something like that. What do we have?
But this is
category.
all, I mean, just watching Claude work on these topics. So doing a first call, fetching some information, doing a follow-up call, fetching additional information. And there we go. Okay.
Yeah. No, it's some
The tiger.
shrimps probably.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I cry on the second thing. Okay. So now we know. Now we know. Ah, another red caviar. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And now, I mean, you can really ask also complex questions where Claude then needs to combine different information. I mean, you already now had seafood, most expensive seafood, but obviously you could also have some relations between the different tools, and Claude would just figure it out and
Yeah. So
try to find.
basically, since it knows the metadata would include the relations between the
Hmm.
entities and navigational relations also. So it
Hmm.
can navigate from the categories to the actual products, from products to the suppliers, and do this like tracing, and probably it can also do something else. But
So I mean,
I'm really struggling with some relatively meaningful business scenario, because like it's already I'm happy when it happens. Look, I don't care about everything else. So maybe you can help me with better, with more
so
sophisticated.
that was exactly my first. I was so impressed. I mean, honestly, when trying out with some other AI solutions, you very often come to an end where saying, oh, okay, I need to rephrase my questions, or I need to do this to finally get some good answers. Here, I always got some good answers. And recently I tested against business partners, and I just thought I asked the question, what unusual things do you see in business partners?
Oh,
And then it worked on this. It found duplicates. It found
oh,
business partners that were created empty in the system. It was
mhm,
really amazing. I had a very open question basically,
mhm,
and Claude, yeah, worked itself through different queries. I mean, it took some time because you really
mhm,
could see it made like 10 different questions to the SAP system, to the OData
mhm,
services behind this.
mhm.
But then it found some good answers. It provided me with some
Yeah,
yeah.
and maybe I could ask a question that someone would ask you. Isn't it too much to use LLM to query about the weird stuff with the partners? I believe that it found the exact correct request to OData, like
Yes.
empty like description or empty. So it was not like it was reading through the database and like
No,
to,
correct.
going with this is weird, this is weird, but it just optimized, and the way it would give you
Exactly.
that response.
It really created the filters to call
Ah,
the OData service.
mhm, mhm,
And it used this. So it started with, I don't know, get a top 10, and then it used this as the next input to then filter for some criteria. So it looked up the properties of the different entities. So it was really, really impressive to see how yeah, how the whole interaction
mhm.
basically worked. So I agree. I mean, crawling the whole data, that like doing a
Yeah.
select star, that would be horrible. And that's I think also where we have different mechanisms. So if you really have a data lake or something like that, and then
Mhm,
you can
mhm,
have something like Copilot work on the data lake and look up this information. But interacting with the SAP system via OData services, there has to be some additional logic behind this. And that's
mhm,
what I
mhm,
found so super interesting. That as you said, it created the right queries to filter the information from the very beginning. I mean, it did ask some generic information to get what are the properties that I can filter for, what are the results if I filter for this, and so on, and then it worked through it. So
So
it
it's
was
like
actually
probed some data sets, understand what is the like pattern there, and then directly on the patterns
exactly.
was working the filter. Okay, crafting the filters. Cool.
So, and I think that is really, and maybe at the end we should do another call to action. But for me, this is really something where I would encourage anyone, give it a try. I mean, you saw how easy it is to clone the repository. Yeah, you need to build it if you need. I mean, there are also again the binaries, and then give it a try, test it out. And personally, I know you have a Claude Pro subscription. I don't. So when I use Claude Desktop, I got a limitation error pretty early on, so that I could not do very much. So my workaround or my solution was to switch to GitHub Copilot. GitHub Copilot can work with the very same Claude Desktop configuration. And then in GitHub Copilot, I had the full flexibility, the full power basically of this. And I was just not using Claude Desktop. I was using GitHub Copilot, but from a functionality point of view, it's the very same, and I could then interact there. So anyone watching this video should give it a try and play around with some data sources.
Maybe a couple of additions also. There is open source extensions to VS Code that doing the similar stuff as GitHub Copilot. It is Klein code, as far as I remember, Ru code, which is the clone of Klein, and they all support MCP. And I believe that support of MCPs is coming to the Copilot, which is inside, which is built into the Windows, and that's what Satya also said, that Windows will be an operating system that will be like MCP first or something, KA first. So eventually it will work from everywhere, and that's like we can ask a question: is sub GUI needed to be installed after that? So you can just install this thing and that's it. So basically, yeah, for those for those people who don't go to the system and change something, like really customization and stuff for non-developers, probably it's not needed. Well, SAP would say, you didn't need that like for ages since Fiori was introduced, but sometimes, yeah, basically. Maybe. I'm not sure. Yeah, let's think about that later. Yeah, okay.
We'll come to that exactly later. But you're right. I think right now using MCP is more a developer story where you have to be someone who knows Claude Desktop or who knows Visual Studio Code and the additional extensions or GitHub Copilot. But as you said, I'm pretty sure that over time, MCP support will be there in Copilot, in M365 Copilot, so that you just connect whatever we're doing right now natively in your Copilot experience, and then you don't need this more developer-focused scenario. But I think for now, I can only recommend give it a try, provide feedback, and then let's see where this is going. So you showed us now a simple read scenario. Not sure if you can also show us a write scenario, an update scenario.
Let's try maybe, because it used to work. I'm not sure will it work now, because sometimes LLM is non-deterministic. But yeah, let's go there and where is it? Okay, let's check. As far as I remember, we have some. Oh yeah, so it is like connected. The GW sample, this is the one that has, this is demo system, and this is test OData service, so we can ask some questions. So probably you list me product categories, because I'm not sure how those.
Yes. So now we're not going to Northwind, but we are now really going to the SAP ES4 system. So this public system. Obviously, you need to have a user for this system, typically a P user or an S user or something like that, which you have configured in the Claude configuration file. And now we can see it working. So it's looking through lots of different tools.
Oh yeah, cool. So yeah. So we have accessories. Do we? Oh yeah, we have notebooks. Okay, that was my favorite request.
Yeah.
I am setting up a workplace for new powerful user. I want most expensive notebook and monitor. What else? Create and or
Oh, this is
oh
fairly complex. So setting up a workplace, so you want to have a new notebook and monitor and maybe other things, and you want to create an order out of this.
yeah.
So now it looks for finding the most expensive notebook, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Then
Oh, keyboards started to
keyboards,
filter.
okay. And
Keyboards.
mice, okay.
Oh, monitors, okay.
Monitors.
Notebooks, monitors, keyboards. What else? Mice, okay. Mice. Oh, we got some. Sometimes the format it would ask data like might be slightly different, but yeah. So this is the most.
And look, it has created a sales order. Okay.
That's it.
Let me add the line items. Okay. So now it's adding the line items for the most expensive notebook.
Okay, issue and creating line item directly. So there was an issue with creating line items, specific format, generate. So it looks like it created quite sales order. So notebook, flat monitor, cordless bluetooth keyboard, pocket mouse. Done.
It looks like it worked. It looks like it created actually.
We probably can go to the system and check, but we will not because of the conscious of time.
No, but it looked amazing, and honestly, I had some. So I tried to create a business partner, and I went through the list, or Claude started to create the business partner, and you can see it failed to create it.
Mm-hmm.
Then it read the error message. Then it said, "Look, let me try with a different way." And then it succeeded to create it. So I could really go in the system and see the business partner that was created. So maybe, yeah, we can check later if the sales order was created or not. But it at least tried to create something. And maybe we should have asked then a follow-up question in case it didn't work. And then most likely it would have created this sales order. So it's really, really amazing what is possible there.
The best part, it will learn at the error messages and retry with different approaches. So eventually it will either do or will give you a nice and detailed bug report, which you can send, or better not to send. But the best bug report is like a pull request. And so please fix. But yeah. I mean, it's win-win. It's either
Absolutely.
we'll do the stuff or we'll create a nice bug report. Yeah.
It's really amazing. Now we've seen some of the cool things that are working. You mentioned already. Right now, I mean, anonymous is obviously working. Basic authentication is working. But for example, some of the limitations is that OAuth or SAML authentication is not yet working. So I think that is something where I know Microsoft is also working with several other vendors or partners to fix that, to also see how OAuth would work with MCP. I know Alex Simons, he recently published a blog post where he outlines the requirements for OAuth and MCP. Other than that, when you think of limitations of the MCP bridge, I know there was last week someone who asked about OData v4 support. I think you already fixed that.
With
that's
my
what
friend,
you said.
Claude, yeah.
With Claude, okay. So it looks like yeah, again the call to action. If there are any issues, They should create an issue in your repo, and then you and Claude would take a look at that and try to fix it, or create a pull request right away. I think that's also an option.
That would be great. Yeah.
Cool. Then one last thing maybe. What's next basically with the MCP bridge?
With the bridge, oh well, I would think that well, there are many. So when you start using it, you would initially you would think, okay, that's enough. That will basically resolve everything, and that's like the end point. But when you're actually starting to using it, you can see some optimization that can be done, then improvements. So basically, let's address the elephant in the room. This OData, most of the OData services were created with UI in mind. So they are maybe less fit for the like direct interaction for anything like AI assistant or something like that. So obvious thing, you can simplify tools or aggregate some tools that will, for example, some actions would need read, create, and then update like this or order. Yeah, it just created order and started to create an item and failed. So basically, we can wrap it into either deep insert, which will create the order and all the lines at one go, or we can give it a simplified API on top. What can be done and how it can be done? It either can be semi-automatic, we can just read the whole structure with help of AI and prepare the optimized simplified API, which will be kind of the simplified MCP list of tools. And yeah, maybe some smart tools masking also will help. Oh, well, we will figure it out. Yeah, a lot of stuff can be done here. Yeah.
Great. So I think the feedback that we are receiving from the community is really positive. There's a lot of excitement. There are also a lot of ideas, and I'm sure working with this will come up with some new additional cool scenarios.
Yeah, and since it is open source, I believe that everyone can try it, test it, improve it, and then when it is really kind of in shape of like product production usage, it might be like wrapped and simplified as Azure service, which you just like press one
enable
button
and then that's it.
Yeah, and it will be off everything right there, so you don't have to think about that, or maybe something like that. That would be great. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. So Alice, from my point of view, this was a fantastic introduction of the topic. I hope a lot of people give it a try, they test it out and share their feedback. I definitely want to make sure that we'll see each other again here on the podcast, because there are some additional really cool things that you have been working on, that you have already released. So hopefully we'll schedule a follow-up very soon, and we'll talk about these additional innovations from you.
Thank you for having me, and that was really great like conversation, and that is really interesting to see what can we do, what community can do with it, and what we come up with like further as a follow-up. Yeah.
Perfect. Great. Thank you, Alice. It was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Holger.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.